So I accidentally remixed Thank You Next.
Thank you, next, thank you, next.
Hello everybody, O'Neil Gerald here, and welcome to my channel where we think deeply to create art that changes the world. I'm a vocal coach, a singer, a songwriter, and I'm also a producer. And because I'm a producer, I wanted to start to kind of weave a little bit of my production process onto my channel. And so I had an idea one day of creating a beat completely from scratch. I had an idea that I recorded on a voice note. I decided to let you guys into my own production process. It was starting really well. I was starting to get the atmosphere of the idea. I think we're getting there. All of the sounds that I was creating in Harmless were beginning to sound the way that they should. The beat was giving me Dark Child halftime with a little bit of Timbaland polyrhythms. And it was going great until I realized the chord progression that I was using was not exactly the same, but was extremely similar to Thank You Next. I'm just realizing, is this the chord? Thought I end up a shine, but you was a match. I wanna break in. This is Thank You. You see, the chord progression for Thank You Next starts on a G flat 7 and then it goes up into an A diminished to go up to the B flat and then sneak up in the bass up to the B for the D flat 7. Technically it's a C flat. And my chord progression, although it didn't do the exact same thing, I went from the same chord. I like to start on the 4, so I was on that G flat 7 and then I went down to the F7. So I'm here editing and I realized that I mega lied to you. I didn't go down to an F7. What are you talking about, O'Neil? I went from the G flat 7 to actually the last inversion of the A flat 7, which actually has the G flat in the bass. The reason why that really corresponds well with the Thank You Next chord progression is because of the C and the E flat that are common notes that are also in the A diminished. So that's the correction for you. Back to you, O'Neil. And then I went to an F minor 7 to the B flat minor 7. When I did that, I was actually starting to sound like Thank You Next without intentionally trying to sound like Thank You Next. And even though I was in more of a halftime thing, the essential rhythm of Thank You Next was laced in my song. It was in the same key and it was the same tempo. Well, basically the same tempo. And so even though I was able to make the beat sound a little bit less like Thank You Next, I decided to make the most of a weird situation and turn it into a Thank You Next remix.
Yeah, for that I say thank you, next, thank you, next, thank you, next. I'm so grateful for my ex.
And so I've placed the link to the remix in the description so you can go and hear it. If you're catching a vibe, subscribe to this channel and click the notification button beside the subscribe button so that you can get your notifications when I'm posting something. And hopefully the next beat I post won't be as much of a rip-off. See you all later.